So, also this week in boxing, Brook and Golovkin was announced.
Good fight.
Thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts on it, it's Kel's doing again what Liam's doing. He's stepping up. He's really stepping up to the plate. He's fighting, in my opinion, one of the, not my opinion, I suppose in everybody's opinion, a lot of people make him the best fighter in the world. I think it's a toss-up between two fighters who that is, but he's certainly there. He's a tough fighter. He's not just a puncher, he can box, he's got a good boxing brain. And I know Kel's got all those things, but I think Kel going up, Kel's a big welterweight, but he ain't a big middleweight, is he? And going up to fight him, I'll take my hat off to him. He'll be a big underdog. But what else were they going to do with him? They kept promising him Vargas, and that fight, as we all know, was announced, but it never happened. We know why. We know it didn't happen. I made him a big offer, Kel, to fight Liam Smith over here, which again would have been a big fight, and I think that put pressure on his people to have to deliver a big fight for him, and that's why he's in the ring with Golovkin.
Obviously, the fight everyone was expecting was Golovkin-Eubank.
I wasn't.
Apart from you.
Was I right?
Yeah, you said it in our last video, actually. You said that fight has zero chance of happening.
It won't happen. I know. I've been down that road with Eubank Sr. It's frustrating. We've done it not once, we've done it twice. It's not fair for us to on the fighter. We went down the road with him, with Billy Joe Saunders. We thought we had it done. We had a contract, was sent out. And suddenly he comes back with ridiculous demands and stupid. I can't put it to use any other word except for stupid, because it's not even about money sometimes. It's just about the most ridiculous things that are in his head. And he's cost his son, I think, over the last year, millions. He's costing the Billy Joe Saunders fight on 2 occasions. He didn't fight Jacobs, he was number 1 to him, he'd have been well paid for that. And he's now not fighting Golovkin, which probably in some respects is doing him a great favour. Not financially, but from his health point of view. But the father is an imbecile. You deal with him, he's not capable of negotiating a contract for a fighter. He doesn't know what he's doing, he doesn't understand how this business works. His idea of the business is that the promoter is ripping you off as soon as you walk in the door, which is ridiculous. His son says that he's never seen a contract for fights. Well, I certainly sent him contracts, or his representative, his then representative, his lawyer, for draft contracts for which terms were agreed for the Billy Joe Saunders fight. I understand that Matchroom sent him contracts, or say they said and I believe they did, to him. Whether the kids see him or not, I don't know, but you've got to look at it. Again, you look at that, the kid's got his fighter, he's got the genes of his father as one of being a fighter. Has he got the genes of his fighter that he makes out that he wants the fights and don't take them? Has he seen the contracts? If he hasn't seen the contracts, if I was him, I'd be sitting there thinking to myself, there's 2 promoters now saying they've sent contracts to me. I haven't seen them. One, why not? I'm fighting. Eubank's big thing is, he's the manager, advisor, whatever he is of his son. His big thing about it is that, the boxer should know what's going on and should see it. Well, if his son's not seeing the contracts, he's hardly advising his son as to what is going on, is he? I mean, because anybody, if you've got a fight going on, your manager sits down, here's the contract, this is what they're offering you, this is what it is. Do you want it or you don't want it? Simple choice. Want to, maybe tweak this, try and find whatever it is, but that's where we're at. So if the son's not seen the contract, he needs to look up to his dad and say to his dad, why haven't I seen the contracts? What is there to hide? Why not? That's number 1. Number 2 is, if he does know about, has seen the contracts, then he's kidding the public again. They're kidding the public. All this is, each time, I'm going to fight in the Olympic Games, we know it's never going to happen, more bullshit. You remember the father, he said he was going to fight. All this stuff's been going on and on. In the meantime, and I don't mean being disrespectful to his last opponents, but if you're talking about fighting Golovkin, you talk about fighting Billy Joe Saunders, and you're talking about fighting Jacobs and Uncle Tom Cobley and all, you don't fight at that level. You raise yourself above that. He was the interim champion, and he vacated it when he was asked to vacate it to fight Billy Joe Saunders in a rematch that he said he wanted, he wouldn't do it. He then vacates it to go and fight for the British title rather than fight Jacobs. The father's a completely impossible to deal with because he doesn't know what he's doing. He does not understand it. You know, I want to go and see the TV company. The first dollar that goes to him. He's a challenger, for God's sake. You know, Golovkin. Who's Golovkin? What are people? You know, like he's a nobody. Who's Billy Joe Saunders? They're nobodies. What planet are they on? And all he's doing is doing his son a great disservice. I've said it from the beginning, and I'll keep on saying it. The old man does not want him fighting anybody because you know what happened? That meal ticket dries up. That dries up. Once that boy's beaten, what happens with the old man? Where is he then? He fades back into what he is, you know. And the old man, I've got to tell you something. Years ago, he said to me, Brendan Ingle, he was talking about him. He said, we had something coming up. I can't remember what it was, something to do with Naz. And he said, we was at this thing, and there was Brendan there, myself, and Chris Eubanks. And he kept on, and he just turned around Brendan, and he said to him, you're a phony. He said, you've always been a phony, and you're a phony. And you know what? He's right. He is a phony. The phony accent, the phony, everything about him is a phony. I knew him from day one. He didn't talk like that when I first met him, I'll tell you that. I promise you he didn't speak like that. He didn't dress like that when I first met him. And, you know, I'm all for all betters, and probably me, you know, where I come from, you know, from council block of flats. I was a lot different back then, but please, you know, we try to keep it real. He is not real, and he is doing his son a massive, massive, massive disservice. I've dealt with 4 different advisors, professional men, lawyers that he's had on board, finance people who came into meetings with us thinking they're dealing with the devil. And at the end, they were out. You know why they're out? Because they could see what we were offering, what was on the table, was a sensible deal. And they could not deal with the old man. He doesn't know what he's doing. And the manager of note and the trainer, Ronnie, should step up to the plate and he should say something about it. Not just sit back there, copy a few quid. You should be doing something for the boy. Now, I know he's got the kid's best interest on. Do something for the boy. Because at the end of the day, what will happen, his contract, his career will just turn to dust. Because no one's going to stand for this bullshit. Who's he going to fight next? Another defence of the British title? You know, what is that all about? Where is he going? They don't know where they're going because they're guided by a headless chicken.
Frank, Eddie highlighted a few of the problems within the negotiations, and he said that one of the things was that Chris Eubank Sr. wanted to double the ticket prices.
Yeah. Where's all this come? This stuff, you know, we're charging, I don't know what they were. They're 500 quid for a ringside, it's 50 quid for a cheap ticket. Screw the fans, just double the price of the tickets. Now remember, most of the time the tickets price is done because of the amount of money that it takes to get the fight on, to pay the fighters to get them to do it. But the bottom line is, you can't just arbitrarily say, oh, you know, just double this, and you know what, and pay-per-view, instead of being 20 quid or 15 quid, let's make it 50 quid. He has no regard for anybody except for himself. He's no regard for the fans, because if he had any regard for the fans, any regard for his son, these fights, all these fights we've talked about, would have happened. None of them are happening. And in the meantime, all the silly tweets are going to go out, you know, what's happened to Billy Joe Saunders, Golovkin, I'm going to do this, do that. All that crap's going out, but you know what? It's all empty. The tweet he should be sending is to his dad. What is going on with my career? What is happening? Why are you making a fool of me? I feel an idiot, actually. I'm sitting here. I'm supposed to fight Billy Joe Saunders. I vacated the WBA interim rather than fight for their title. I was supposed to fight Golovkin, and it's not happening. Why isn't it happening? What's the common denominator in this? Well, it's his dad, and that's it. And he might, and is he in on everything with his dad? And that's the question I ask. If he knows everything what's going on, then he's as bad, and stop the tweeting altogether. But if it's your dad causing it, then you need to go and you need to sit down and have a good conversation with him. Excuse me.
Did Eddie Hearn also said that he's only spoke to Chris Eubank Jr. Once, which was at the end of January, longer than a conversation that entailed hello. When you were sort of dealing with the first fight and the proposed second fight, did you have any conversations with the boy himself?
No, it's a funny thing. My son George was out in the States, and don't know what's going on, some tweeting or whatever it was, or I mean, I don't hardly do it stuff. But anyway, there was a thing going on out there, and George was out there, and he said to the boy, remember, we got a contract with him. We got a promotional contract with him. So he said, he was training out there. Well, if you want to meet up for a coffee or something, I'm out here. The old man heard about it about 3 weeks later, and then your son's trying to interfere with our contract. Your son's trying. This is not done. You don't do this. This is wrong. What's going on? We got a contract. What are you talking about? It's like he's worried about the son finding out something. That's the paranoia is unbelievable. But then he forgets when I sat in Nassim Hamid's office many years ago in Sheffield, sitting in the office, and the phone rings, and it's Chris Eubanks, and he puts and Naz did not like, there was no love lost there, and he's put the phone on the open phone, and it's Chris Eubanks. You need me to advise you. You need nothing about my contract. You need. I should be doing this and all that. We'll listen. And Naz and me are looking, and he went, no, that's it. But that's Chris Eubank Sr. for you, a phony.
Kel Brook said yesterday as well, one of the things was that they were insistent on Barry McGuigan being the commentator.
What's all that? Of course he is. Well, he trains. Barry McGuigan was involved in something with him, but who is he to determine what's he going to and then he'll tell Barry McGuigan what he's got to say? Who is he to tell a TV company who can be the commentator? Who on earth does he think he is? He's the British champion, and he's been beaten by Billy Joe Saunders. What else is there? What does he bring to the table? He's coming in as a challenger, and who is he? I'd say if he told me that, he would be told to piss right off out of it and take his son with him. Who's going to stand for that? What planet is this on? All he should be worried about, his son getting in the ring and winning a title and showing everybody if he's the fighter that we all think he is or not. Get in there and fight. That's all we're interested in. Not Chris Eubank Sr.'s ego and his ridiculous demands and his pomposity and ridiculous statements that he makes. No one's interested in that. We're all fed up. We're past that. That's why Kel Brook is fighting. That's why Billy Joe Saunders and us walked away. It was very difficult to get Billy back to the table again. He said, we've been down this road. We made the offer again. You keep them. And I've spent more time talking about that than I've talked about the show, which involves fighters that actually do want to fight. Fighters like Jazza Dickens, who step up to the plate and go and fight people. Kel Brook stepped up the plate to go and fight Golovkin. Liam Smith has stepped up the plate to go and fight Alvarez. They've done it. No problems with them. Let's get on with it. We're fighting men. We're fighters. We don't hide behind our dads. We don't hide behind our managers. We get out there and we do it because we are fighting men. We're not fanny merchants.
So hypothetically, if the Eubanks were to get in touch about the Saunders fight
I would not deal with Chris Eubanks at all. Ever. It's pointless. I'll lose the will to live. I've done that. I've been down that road. I suffered him years ago. He forgets. I mean, even when he come on my shows after Barry Hearn had managed him and promoted him and telling me all the stories how upset he was about all that, he had 5 fights for me. 5 fights. 2 of them were purse bids that I won. One he was lucky to win the fight. That was against Ray Close. All the other fighters against fighters that I managed and looked after. Every one of them beat him. That's what a good judge he was. When he come to fight on my shows, he got beat every time. Cole Thompson twice, Joe Kawasaki, Steve Collins, all beat him. And what do I want to sit down and go through all that crap again like we've done? I'm not interested. Tell the boy to sell his solicitor or his dad, if he's the manager, the dad to tell a solicitor to deal. I will never ever deal with him. We'll not have a meeting with him to talk about his son and fights ever. We'll not do it. It's pointless.